What the hell is that? Now, look both ways before you cross the street. Maybe you'll learn your lesson that time. What a major improvement from the first video that I did. It's only a few days later, not even a week yet, and the weather today is phenomenal at best. Doesn't get any better riding than what it is today. So meeting up with a few buddies and we're taking a general ride around. It'll be the first actual trip for the year since I just got the bike back, so it'll be nice not to travel just to work, because it's a very short trip for me. And since I'm riding with a bunch of people, well, only 4, so it's not really a bunch, but a few people, I figured I'd do a video on the topic of why people ride. It seems to be one of those topics that, it's not that it's confusing, it's that I don't think people understand why people have the passion or the joy of riding. You know, it's one of those things that you either really understand it or you don't. And the people that ride definitely, you know, understand why they do it and why they like to do it. And there's the other people that have never been on bikes or want to be on bikes, that maybe have somewhat of an idea of what it's like, but they're still left not really grasping the concept of what it's like to be on a bike and just be out in the open and the freedom. And you know, it's so hard to put it into words for what it's like. It's just something you either have to experience it on your own, or you can't really grasp what it's like overall. How's that for timing? Alright. That's my buddy Cisco. He's got a really nice Harley. I'm not much for cruisers or Harleys, but his is actually pretty nice, and I'm not gonna publicly say I don't like Harleys, because other than riding bikes, he likes to lift really heavy shit and put it down. And I don't want to spend the summer in a body cast drinking through a sippy cup, so go Harleys. Back on the topic of why people ride, you know, I've had days that are just complete and utter shit. You know, whether it's your personal life or work life or anything that interjects into your life to, you know, affect how you feel at the time. And when you get on a bike, none of that matters anymore. It completely goes away. You just have the worst fucking day you can ever imagine, and you get on this bike or any bike and you just get on and go, and it's all just gone. None of it even matters anymore. It doesn't exist, and it just wipes away everything. You know, that's how it is for me. And you know, there have been days where I've gotten in a car or my truck, whatever I had at the time, had a bad day, like the same type of situation, and you drive away pissed off, and you know, you drive like an asshole for the most part. But on a bike, it doesn't do that. At least it does it for me. It's like hitting the reset button, and everything's as right as rain, and none of that stuff matters anymore. And I think it's the freedom of riding, of being out in the open. You know, you get so much better sense of everything around you, everything you see and smell and hear. You know, it's just it's amplified tenfold when you're riding, and you don't get that when you're in a car or a truck, or you know, whatever four-wheel vehicle you happen to be in. Yeah, I think it's that sense that, you know, distinguishes, you know, the people that understand riding and the ones that don't. It's the reason for why people have the passion for it and why they do it. Because once you experience that, you know, then it all makes sense, and you can completely understand it. And you know, it's important to have hobbies too. You know, you can't go through life, you know, without other things to occupy your time with. whether it's, you know, there's so many other hobbies out there to have, you know, fishing, running, sports, collecting, anything really, you know, stamps, cards, action figures from the 80s and 70s, all that stuff. It all counts towards something to, you know, wash away the everyday worries of life and, you know, to preoccupy your mind other than the usual grind of work or your personal life. So it's important to have something to, you know, to look forward to. And, you know, for me, riding is definitely one of them. It's probably my top one. I have a lot of other interests and hobbies that I do as well, but this is definitely my top one. But, you know, I've talked to people before and they're like, well, I don't really have any hobbies, but, you know, I drink on the weekends. That, you know, in my opinion, that really doesn't count. You know, you need, you know, something, go fishing, you know, hunting, anything like that. You know, drinking on the weekends doesn't really count as a hobby to me. Or porn. Porn's not a hobby either, because the only thing that porn and drinking get you is a fucked up liver and crusty socks. So neither one of them, you know, benefit you in the long run. Wave number one for the day. Actually, when we stopped, when I cut the video off, there was a guy that pulled up on a bike and he was looking mine over quite a bit. I didn't touch on the topic yet, but my bike's finally done. The last video, the fairing kit wasn't even installed yet, and it's all done now. I haven't done a video review on it yet, but I definitely will be. I might do it when I get home later today at some point, but I'll give a full overview on the bike and everything about it and the new fairing kit. Yeah, some people already know about it, but for those who watch these that don't know me personally, it will be new to you, so that'll be a plus. The only thing I regret about riding is the fact that I did not start doing it earlier than I did. When I was a teenager growing up and everything, I think all kids like, you know, race cars, fast bikes, stuff like that, but I was definitely into bikes. My uncle owned bikes, my father owned bikes, they both still do to this day, and I always wanted, you know, a sport bike. That was like my thing. I always wanted one as a kid, and it just never happened. I got into other interests and other hobbies, and I just kind of got put on the back burner for a long time until I got into my middle to later 20s, and then I finally made a decision to get one, which was my first 05, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did end up selling it for reasons which I stated in the first video as well, but it wasn't because I didn't enjoy riding anymore. It's, you know, the financial hardship of, you know, affording the damn insurance on a brand new bike and being a first year rider. It really sucked. Now I have full coverage on this now, and it's dramatically different from the first year I paid on my first CBR when I had not even a year of experience under my belt at the time. And then I made the decision to get this bike a few years ago, and after doing that, I don't think I'll ever go again without a bike. You know, I may not always ride sport bikes, you know, I'm going to for as long as I can, you know, as long as my, you know, body allows it. And they're really not that hard to ride. People are like, how can you ride that thing? It looks so uncomfortable, but it's all in your body positioning and, you know, how your body posture and all that stuff. You know, it all makes a huge difference. That place sucks. Never go to that place. It's kind of an inside joke. Some people will get it, other people won't, but that place really sucks. Don't go there. Anyway, you know, once I got this bike, you know, I just decided that, you know, I'll never go without one again. And I've actually been thinking lately that I would like to get another bike. My car's paid off in about a year and a half, and that will save me quite a bit per month as far as payments go, and may open up the door for getting a second bike. I'm definitely not getting rid of this one. I like this bike way too much to ever sell it. And I was thinking of getting, you know, I was like, oh, I'll just get a newer CBR, you know, something with a little bit more updated suspension, maybe a little bit more power, something like in the 07 to 09 range, you know, right around there, something that's still cheap. But someone suggested, why do you want to get the same bike you already have? And I was like, well, it's not really the same bike, it is still different, but what it comes down to is, yeah, it pretty much is the same bike still. So I got looking around thinking, what are the bikes I really like, and came to the conclusion that I really like the look of the naked bikes. I've always liked them. I've never ridden one, but I'd really like to. And I got looking at different ones, and one of them that really stood out the most to me was the Triumph Street Triple R. It's the 675cc on the Triumph line, and it has amazing reviews from what I've seen. So it's something that I really would like to look into getting at some point. I suspect there's going to be a ton of bikes out today. This is actually the best day weather-wise we've had so far this year for riding. Even though it's a Monday, there's probably still going to be a ton of bikes out, and you know, it all boils down to, you know, what I was saying before about, you know, why people enjoy riding. I think there's different levels of it as well. Some people are casual riders or enthusiasts or hardcore riders, and it all depends on the amount of time that you ride and your reasons for riding, because, you know, there's different, and I think people have different reasons for why they ride. You know, some people think of it as an image thing. Those are the ones that I see riding around on sport bikes with no gear on, no helmet, no boots, no gloves, no jacket, no nothing, without, you know, except for a pair of sunglasses, because, you know, it's important to keep the bugs out of your eyes, but fuck the fact that you might, you know, crash and smash your head off the pavement. That doesn't matter, but, you know, definitely keep the bugs out of your eyes. That's, you know, I never got that at all. So I think that some people do it, you know, as an image thing, and other people do it because they just enjoy it, and it's just something that they'll probably always do or always have done. And there's the other kinds of people that, you know, just casual riders that ride, you know, maybe a few times a year or only when it's really nice out. You know, I generally ride only when it's nice out, and I don't like to ride in the rain, but I'm not going to not ride because there's a chance of showers or something like that either. I've been caught in thunderstorms and rainstorms plenty of times, so that's something I'm afraid of. And actually in the summertime, you know, when it's like 85 and humid, and, you know, it's not bad to get caught in a rainstorm either. It actually feels kind of good. So I wouldn't call myself a definite fair weather rider either, but some people definitely are, and that's fine if that's, you know what they want to do. There's also the people that ride year-round regardless of where they live. You know, it's not a big deal in the southern states or out west where it's nice all year round, and you might get like maybe a month or 3 weeks of actual winter where you can't ride or it's not warm enough to ride. But up here in the Northeast, it's definitely a lot different. You know, it's 6 months generally without riding, and what the fuck is a holdup? And I know people that ride year-round in this type of a climate. I don't know how the hell they do it or why they do it, but, you know, I definitely couldn't do that. I couldn't never see myself riding in a snowstorm or right after it snowed or icy roads or anything, but people do it, and I still see bikes in the wintertime. Not very rarely, but I, you know, personally know people that ride year-round, and, you know, that's their thing, but it's definitely not where my enthusiasm lies for it either. That could have been more catastrophic, though.
Could have been.
If I ran it over.
That would have sucked. A piece of it's lower.
The whole thing came off.
Yeah.
Caddyshack. Fucking what's this? Get down on the golf course.
We decided to pull over and make an unexpected stop. One of my bolts from my mirror came loose on the other side, and my mirror was kind of flopping around every once in a while, which isn't good because I don't want to lose the entire thing. There's two bolts that hold it on, but I wasn't going to ride around the rest of the day like that. Luckily, one of the guys had a little toolkit. We were able to get the mirror off, and he could keep it in his saddlebags until we get home. I have a bad track record of losing parts off my bike for some reason, dating back to last year, but at least that's not as bad as when I lost the entire lower fairing off the bike. So I'll just chalk that up to the fact that the fairing kit's brand new, and I should probably go over everything again, bolt-wise, just to be sure everything is tight, so I don't need bolts backing out or anything like that either. Look both ways before crossing the street. So for those of you who are thinking about riding, or maybe new riders that are still unsure about it, especially if you don't even have a bike and you've been wanting to ride and thinking about riding, I would definitely do it. Take the plunge, find the style of the bike you like, and just go for it. There's nothing else like it. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy it, and it's until you do it and until you appreciate all the benefits that it has to offer, it's nothing that you're really going to be able to experience on your own. You can watch as many videos as you want on it, read as many forums as you want, but it still comes down to until you actually do it, and then you can understand exactly what it's like. And so in conclusion, I hope that I was able to shed a little bit of light on reasons why people ride, and why people have such a passion for it, and just why so many people do it. Like I said earlier, it's one of those things that once you do it, you fully understand it, and if you don't do it, it's hard to wrap your head around it. But I hope I was able to shed a little bit of a different light on it for everyone. That's about it for now. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day riding, and I'll see everyone for the next video. Later.